You know, I started this, I talked to Robert, you know, we hooked back up on Facebook and it was amazing, you know. After all these years, you know, I started searching people out and I found him on Facebook and he said, hey, you know, they're talking about doing a reunion. And I said, you know what can I do to help you? And so he said, you know, whatever you can do, you can help. So he called me one day and he said, or actually emailed me, he says, hey, I screwed up. I put this Facebook thing together for Operation Restore Hope. He goes, I don't know what's going to, you know, I don't know what I'm doing with Facebook. I'm computer illiterate, you know, so what should I do? And he's like, I'm trying to figure out how to delete it. And I said, don't delete it. I said, that's someplace where we can all meet and we can start this thing. So he's like, okay, so he kept going with it. And the more I talked, I was telling him, hey, I can do this for you, do this. And he's like, okay, you're the first sergeant. I'm like, wait a minute. I just said, I'll help you with this. I said, but then the more I started working on it, the more I started enjoying it because it started bringing back memories of everything that we did. You know, seeing Richard run around naked. You know, I started to remember each individual as they were adding themselves or we were adding them to the Operation Restore Hope. It was like, it wasn't, oh, I remember this guy. I remembered incidents, you know, things that happened throughout our course and all the things that we did in the Marine Corps. I mean, it was brought back a lot of memories. And I was only in touch with like 2 guys out in the Marine Corps the whole time until this. And then I started talking to people online. I started talking to Mike Visor where he instant messaged each other about different things. And, you know, it's like 20 years later, we were still the same. We still could talk and we could bust each other's balls and everything just the same way as we did 20 years ago. We've grown up and we're about 1,000 pounds heavier in this room. But we're still the same guys as we were back then. We still share the same brotherhood and the common bond. We are all Suicide Charlie Marines. Not just Marines. We're Suicide Charlie Marines. You know, and we had the privilege of doing things that most Marines would dream about, you know, and we had great officers like Captain Brugman and Lieutenant Harnett. You know, I had 4 company COs, and I started with Captain Campanelli, then I went to Captain Johnson, then we went to Captain Schnock, and then I had the privilege of meeting the greatest CO I had ever had the chance to serve. He says, call me Bob, and I said, no, I can't. And I'm sure all of you in here are the same way. I can't call him Bob because he is a leader amongst men, and he always will be that leader amongst men. You know? So with that, Mr. and Mrs. Jean, and I'm not going to be able to keep it dry.